triathlon season is fast and furious. We come out of the gates on day one, hopefully race ready, at least fit enough to start racing the distance. And it's a really short season, so we'll learn a lot this weekend. We already have, I think, learned a lot about who we are and what we're going to be able to do come race day. But these racing opportunities are priceless because it really helps to fine-tune and evaluate and get a sense of where everybody is.
Shannon, for you had a pretty good summer with the big win about a month ago now, I think. Talk about what you learned from that race and how you can carry that experience into the college season.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence. I definitely wasn't expecting to come out with the win, but I had the opportunity and I took it. It really showed me that I am stronger than I think I am, and I put in the work, but sometimes my mind kind of stops me from getting up to the front. So I'm really excited to push my limits, and hopefully as a team we can all push our limits and have a great season.
And then Megan, for you, what's something that you're working on this year? What's the discipline that you got to get better in, and how are you trying to accomplish that?
Definitely the run. I've been doing this sport for over a decade now, and I'm a very strong swimmer and cyclist, but I think getting that run together and putting together an overall race and kind of being able to almost in a way take revenge for what happened at the end of last season with crashing out at nationals, but putting together just a good, smooth opening race and really pushing that run.
Coach, you mentioned you're going to kind of see where you're at. Sorry for the ignorant question here, but how much of that do you learn in race competition, and how much of that do you learn, from practice?
We learn an incredible amount in training, right? Because draft legal triathlon is very swim centric in that they'll come out of the water in small groups, which form small groups on the bike. And then when they're in these little pelotons, we're 20% more effective, more efficient than we can be individually. And so we develop a lot of our race strategy based on swim ability. Who do we think is going to come out of the water where? And then we start to strategize small group tactics so that, for example, Megan and Shannon, we're pretty confident they're going to be towards the front of the race coming out of the swim. They're both strong swimmers, competitive swimming background. And so our job is to figure out how are they going to work together to capitalize on that advantage that they get coming out of the water. Can Fiona Graves, who's a freshman strong swimmer, hang with them? Maybe. If so, she's going to be instructed to be on the back, right? And to ride their draft. She hasn't learned the skills yet to pull and to be, someone setting the pace on the front. And so a lot of it depends on experience. A lot of it depends on swim ability, which determines their seed heading on to the bike course. And then we'll have cyclists who we know are not the best swimmers that will be instructed to work together to get their group closer towards the front, because really collegiate triathlon, it's a swim bike, but it's a running race, and we've got to get to that 5K as fresh and as close to the front as we can, and hopefully win the close ones. And we've been doing more work on the track. We got out sprinted last year, which knocked us off the podium, which was a little bit of a disappointment. And like Megan said, I think there's some, I don't know if revenge is the right word, but we've got some things to take care of from last year.
You mentioned what you want to work on this season. Can you guys talk about what are your individual goals for this year?
Individual goals. I would say for mine was, in all the races, definitely to catch that lead bike pack. Usually I come out around the first group of the swim, and then I have a slow transition, and I didn't have the capability to catch the group on the bike and stay on. So I really worked on cycling this summer and just building stronger legs. So I hope that'll help me. And overall, my goal would be to podium at nationals. and probably our team podium would be fantastic.
You ought to ask her to flex her calves for you. She went from chicken legs last year to really putting some. She's got some horsepower on those legs now. She can.
Thanks, Coach.
She can go. In fact, maybe we'll all three of us, we can end with a calf pose.
That's the best compliment I've ever gotten. Thank you.
I think for me, coming out of the water, getting in that lead pack, and staying more tactically aware in that lead pack. I think last year I spent too much energy on the bike that when I got to the run, I was a bit more gassed than I would like to be. And like Shannon was saying, I'd say probably an individual goal is to podium at nationals and then get that team back on the podium and hopefully get a shot at the national title.
If we hit it right, we got the talent we could win that race.
At the end of the season?
Yeah.
What would be a successful year for you?
Winning. Yeah. I mean, a successful year, right? Everyone has a wonderful experience, and everyone gets better, and everyone gets straight A's, and everyone loves each other, but winning too. Yeah.
So you guys had 3 All-Americans and qualified for the program's 4th ever regional qualifier championship last year. It seems like triathlon's like on the up. What do you attribute a lot of that success to? Like players, your coaching, overall sports department?
Athletes, good, ambitious athletes.
Yeah, I would also say to that just the support from CMU. I mean, triathlon's not a common sport. Not a lot of schools have it. So just having the support from the athletic department and supporting this kind of up-and-coming sport as it becomes a fully fledged NCAA sport, I think that's been also really amazing to see.
Yeah, I would agree with Megan. Like, I thought about doing triathlon when I grew up, but I mean, I didn't really have anywhere to do it. So it was really cool that I was a swimmer here, and then my swimming career was over, but they had this awesome program, and I could run, so I was able to join, and I love the sport. Like, my injury was like a blessing in disguise. Like, I love this sport and this team and this school.
Can I ask you guys as athletes, Coach mentioned the pods and everything else, obviously teamwork's a big part of this. How much teamwork comes into play in earlier races in the season?
I would say a lot, especially when there's like less teams. We've had a few races, like last year we had, well, like a scrimmage. It was supposed to be a race, but it got canceled. It's all together, and you'll be in a pack, and there'll be maybe 2 other teammates, and especially in the bike pack, it's really important to have each other's wheel or help pull if someone's struggling, and it's really important.
Yeah, I'd build off that. I mean, most people think of triathlon as a sport where you just go out and whoever can hang on the longest gets it. But in this style of racing that we do with Draft Legal, there's a lot of tactics that go on, especially in the bike. Being able to ride close together and having the teammate and the experience. I mean, Shannon and I ride together a lot, and that really helps when it comes to the racing. We're able to tactically make decisions and save energy on portions of the race. And I think there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that we do and that we work on to really put together a strong race rather than just like hanging on in the non-draft version of triathlon, which is a whole different sport in itself.
All right, question of the week. Favorite pre-game, pre-race meal?
Oatmeal.
That's a hard one.
Sesame bagel, toasted, peanut butter, banana.
Nice. I'd say I have the berry naked smoothie, and then I have a bagel with peanut butter and jelly. And before my race, I have a peanut butter banana Cliff Bar and some energy chews.